In the music industry, your emotions can be your greatest asset. It could be the reason why you create cool imagery and interesting lyrics, or your productions have a certain emotional blend that is very unique. Your emotions and that honest vulnerability could be the reasons why your fans truly connect with you. But at the same time, your emotions can be your biggest downfall. I've seen so many artists, so many producers, so many mixers, so many engineers, so many people bring in dramas and traumas into their business situations. And what will always happen 100 times out of 100 times is when you cross certain lines emotionally, if you say certain things that leave resonance in a negative space, if you create dramas or traumas, or you bring your own into the business side and it affects business, and if the people you're working with care more about their business and more about how they make money and making sure that it's not affected, you will always be cut off from opportunities 100 times out of 100 times. Now, every once in a while, you have a rare opportunity where someone genuinely cares about you. So even though you might be shaking up the business, even though you might be bringing some traumas, some dramas, even though that might be happening, they might say, let's stop, let's pause, let's reset, let me help you. If you find those opportunities, those are very, very rare. But don't expect them to be there. Actually, be gracious and appreciative if they are. Because I've seen a lot of people expect others to understand them just because they've been working together. And those people don't have to understand you. They don't have to go out of their way. Nobody does, especially if you're an adult. So let me give you an example, because this example I'm going to give you, I've seen it so many times that's almost like watching the same story unfold. The minute I see it, I know the ending. Every single time. It has not changed for the 18 years I've been in the music industry full time. This story I'm going to tell you does not change. So here's the story. An artist, very talented, or a producer, very talented, or a musician, very talented. Once again, bassist, very talented person. Comes in, everyone loves them. They're charismatic, they're cool, they get the job done. They are seemingly needed by the team of people they're working with because everything is better with this person. Then something happens where this person either doesn't get their way or something that they expected is no longer there. And there's a reaction. And in that reaction, it usually goes towards self-survival. It goes towards what's best for me, not best for the team. And in there, it shows a part of the personality. It shows a part of what I would call a weakness in their ability to control their emotions. And in that space, a decision is made from the person, either consciously or subconsciously, or sometimes just by reacting. And something comes out of their mouth or comes out in an email, or they choose something that derails them from the team and puts them into an I mode. Because a lot of times they've been given so much to this point that they've created an ability or an identity to be able to feel bold enough to say or do what they did in that moment. Now, there's a saying in psychology where if you are given something one time, you're appreciative. If you're given something the second time, you anticipate it. If you're given something the third time, you expect it. If you're given something a fourth time, you feel entitled to it. And if you're not given something on the fifth time, the person can become resentful, they can become depressed, they get anxiety, but they also can become vengeful. So there's a very interesting pattern. Appreciation, anticipation, expectation, entitlement, resentfulness, depression, anxiety, vengefulness. So this pattern I've seen over the years, every single time when that reaction comes out of the person, whatever their reaction was, they weren't consciously thinking about the reaction to it. They weren't processing the trickle effect that would actually come back to bite them. They weren't thinking that far. And by not thinking that far ahead, they weren't open to seeing what might affect them a year down the road, 3 years down the road, 5 years down the road, how they were going to support their families, how they're going to move their careers forward. Most of the people stand firm in what they believe, and they ask people in their circle, and the few people they ask for advice are other people who will help them see more of their one perspective. So it becomes an echo chamber. And in this echo chamber, it usually cuts off opportunities. It usually continues more of the things that will keep that person in bondage to their own traumas, because it tells them more of their story that they are the victim or that something has happened to them, instead of they're not the only one in the story. There's more people in the story. There's more perspectives in the story. And to make something actually grow, it's not just going to take them. It takes balance and harmony throughout all the people. And unfortunately, a lot of the times when this happens, the person believes that another opportunity is right around the corner. It's this mindset of when one door closes, another door opens. I'm going to let you know, not all doors will open again. I can tell you this clearly because I've worked with hundreds of artists and hundreds of producers who've been talented over the years. And 99% of them who made that bad mistake are not in the music business anymore. There's not always another opportunity. There's not always going to be another investor. There's not always going to be another record label option. It's not always going to be there. You have a finite window. It's a small window of opportunity. If you continue patterns throughout life, it's very hard to change negative patterns when you get older. It's almost like people don't understand that change is even possible. So to all the creative people out there making great music, who are working in a career, who generally want something better for yourself and for your family and for your next generation, your actions matter. Your ability to control your emotions matter. There will not always be a second or third time. I have way too many stories of people who never got another chance, who are extremely talented, who are extremely good looking, who have all the things that look like star quality. They will not have more options like the ones they messed up. Don't repeat cycles that you need to learn. Learn it from me right here. Whenever you have a moment of emotional reaction, calm yourself. Take a step out of it. Look at all the perspectives, not just your own. Try to understand where everyone might be coming from in the situation and how can you make the best result for all people involved. As long as you're not giving up your actual morals and you're not assaulted or abused in any physical way. If it's just an emotional reaction to an instance which is not in your best favor, take a step back, take a breath, take a long thought before you react, because that one reaction could change the rest of your life without you actually knowing it in the moment.